All right, we're back again. First off, shout out to Casey, the icon, who is helping me through this process of learning how to draw. I'm still on my homework assignment of 100 gesture figures. I think this is like 43, 44, which is insane to think about because I feel like I've been doing this for at least a month and a half, 2 months. But here we are. I showed him it, and he's trying to remind me to enjoy the process. The last tip he gave me was to make sure that what was the word? I have to map out the drawing a little more before I try to get those details in, which is what I'm trying to do right here. My intention is to find the flow. We have the top half of the body and the bottom half. Female figures have a tendency to have two lines. Males have a tendency to have one. Male figures have a tendency to feel a little more rigid. So there's, I don't know, something I've noticed over the time. And then I'm building this torso to be ideally bigger than the actual torso of the figure. The same is going to go for the legs, the calves, the arms, the head, everything. Everything is ideally going to be bigger than what it should actually be once I'm adding in those details. And that's to give myself space to erase and kind of chip away at the figure and find those finer details. And at this point, I would say I'm okay with this. I don't like the head shape. And even at the very end of this, if I remember correctly, I still don't really like the head shape. But it's baby steps. It's enjoying the process, as the kids say. And I think it's funny because the way, because I'm a curmudgeon or just perpetually negative. Oh, you're right there. You see that right there? My original line, my flow line was way out further than it was necessary, and I adjusted it so that it was a little more proportionate and accurate to the reference. And I think, and in the past, I was almost married to whatever I put on the page initially. So in the past, I would see this line and I would say, well, I put the line here. And so clearly I have to follow the line. There's no other options. And it's like once you step outside of that box thinking, you realize, no, the outline is just simply that. It's an outline. It's a general idea of where the body's going to be, and then you have to piece together the little parts. But what I was saying, the process of enjoying it, I know it, in Casey, if you listen to this, I know it comes off like I hate this, which I do on some level. It's very frustrating. It's super frustrating to know what you want in your head. Like, really understand what you're envisioning, but you don't have the practical skills to articulate it. It's an incredibly frustrating experience. But I have been enjoying the process. I really do. I have been enjoying the process. What I love about drawing and filming it and taking pictures of it is I can see it. Like, I can actively see myself improving as I go along, whereas with something like stand-up, you're getting better, especially as the years go by. You can feel yourself getting better, but it's not as clear. It's not as tangible or almost objective. So I am, Casey, if you listen to this, I am enjoying the process. I am enjoying the fact that I'm getting better. I'm just very stubborn, and I like to do things. I'm quick. I'm impulsive. I don't know if you can hear my toilet is gargling. What constitutes living under slumlords? What constitutes that? Because the guy who's supposed to fix things, he has this weird thick ass Albanian accent. He comes in with dirty boot. He came in, I swear to God, this dude came in to fix the fan, like the ceiling fan, and he has these dirty ass work boots on. He barely speaks a lick of English, and he just uses my furniture. He does not even say like, "Hey man, do I take the shoes off?" And I just use my crusty socks to step all over your nice new sheets, your fitted sheets that took forever to put on because fitted sheets are inconvenient. No, he didn't give a fuck. He just got right on the furniture and fixed away, kind of. Then after he air quote fixed it, I was like, okay, well I'm trying to make the fan work and it's not working. And he points to the what is it? He points to the little switch on the wall, and it's weird. The way my fan and light connects to those switches is a little weird. And he's like, here, just there. So anytime if I want the fan on, I have to have the light on, basically. It's a whole thing. I've completely digressed. Where are we at with this drawing? Okay, so I've kind of developed a system of starting at the legs. Like once the figure has its general outline, for whatever reason, I feel most comfortable starting to build that detail at the legs, which I've started here, and then building up. It's almost like I start the figure at the head, go all the way down, and then I start to build the detail from the bottom back up. So if I remember correctly, I'm going to start with these legs, which I already did, add a little bit of detail. I'll get to the arms, the torso, the other side of that shoulder, and then I'll do it again from the bottom. Then I'll add even more detail. I'll add even more detail from the legs and go from there. And now there I am using hey, Casey, if you're listening, he said, don't be afraid to use the eraser. And there I am using the eraser. Look at me go. Now the character is wearing that was, we'll get to it when I get back down to the legs a little more. But the character is wearing kind of like a sexy cop vest thing going on at the top. So she has the midriff showing, but at the bottom, yeah, here comes the vest a little bit. At the bottom, though, on her legs, she has these skin tight leather leggings. I'm guessing we're going for a dominatrix thing based off of the pose and what the reference drawing was. I'm an artist. This is art, not smut. Now, the issue I run into in terms of drawing clothing, the folds are hell. You're going to see that when I get to it. Drawing folds, I just don't really fully grasp how that is. I understand that it has something to do with shadows. It has something to do with the shadows and the weight of the clothing. So if your clothing is, let's say your clothing is hanging off of the character, the gravity's pulling the clothing down. Let's say it's a shirt. So the gravity's pulling the shirt down, and the part that's going to be on your shoulder is going to be tight. It's not going to have a lot of folds because that's where the force is pulling from, and then whatever's baggier will have a tendency to have more folds to it. So I understand that logically, but in terms of how to draw it, I'm not sure. The character is also, and here was a little bit more trouble I had, and I know I'm going to fix it later, but the character's turned away. So this shoulder right here that I just built the sleeve to is supposed to be closer than the back shoulder. She's got a twisting thing going on. And right around here, and this is where foreshortening comes into play. And foreshortening is a motherfucker. That shit is hard. But the foreshortening isn't working right here. Now, if I think I understand why. The shoulder, how do you put this? The shoulder needs to disappear more. So the line going from the closer shoulder to the further shoulder away, it's too far. There we go. We doing it? We are. Yeah, I realize it too, that foreshortening wasn't working. So I have to cut all of this out, and that shoulder that's further away, that line needs to be closer to the chin. Needs to be closer to the chin to indicate that it is smaller and further away. And then I had to remember that the hand on the arm is also smaller and further away. So as we come and build that further shoulder, here it comes right now. As we build that shoulder, that should be smaller and further away, that hand needs to match it. If I had made the hand just as big as the foreground hand, it would have looked awkward, off. It wouldn't have made sense. There we go. I want to say I'm making the hand. Yeah, yeah. Look at past Aaron figuring out his mistakes just on the spot like that. That past hand that needs to be that hand needs to be smaller to indicate that it is further away. Now, in terms of the proportion size of I'm eyeballing it. I'm figuring it out, but I am happy with that decision. I would argue that the foreshortening of this shoulder and that hand, as well as the shadows, which we'll get into, are probably the best parts about this particular drawing. Hold on a second. I got some messages. Send the link. Hey, Kadeem, I'm recording a thing right now. I got like 17 more minutes left. I'll get right back to you. I have a writing meeting with Kadeem Fuller. Shouts out to Kadeem Fuller. I like working with people that are creative. I like working with Casey on this stuff. Casey, again, if you listen, dude, I have so many ideas. I have so many ideas that I clearly do not have the artistic talent to pull off, but you do. We can make some cool shit, man. I'm telling you. But working, there goes my fucking toilet again. You hear that? I can promise you, I didn't flush it. I'm not doing this audio on the toilet. You wouldn't even be able to hear. It's been too goddamn echoey in that bathroom. Where are we? Building the figure. Yeah, see, even this part right here of making sure that shoulder was right was a bit of a nuisance. Okay, now I'm trying to fix the camera. You know, something else I was proud of was I didn't rush myself. I didn't freak out. Anytime I feel like someone is watching me, I feel like I need to move faster, and it just completely fucks the image up. Okay, so we're getting rid of that line. What is that? The line of action. And I don't even think that was an accurate line of, well, was it? Yeah, no. That was an accurate line of action. Okay, we have the belly button. Now, right around here, those are the pants. And I think I make a move here that I'm pretty happy about, which is I make sure that the pants feel circular. They feel like they have a rounding motion around the body rather than feeling what the fuck? Sorry, somebody banged on their wall or door. I don't want to complain where I live. Like I'm okay with where I live. But I it would be nice to have a house. Not a big house, just like a one story. That wouldn't be a townhouse. That'd be not a farmhouse. I don't know those. Okay, Kadeem's good. Okay. And then I would just see, this is the detail part again. So I'm going back down to the legs, and I am trying to start off building the details specifically with the clothing and the accessories. The character on the leg that's in the foreground is supposed to have like this laser gun or something. And then on the other side, she has a sword, and she's wearing a hat. It's a bunch of nonsense. And she's got this dominatrix leathery shit right here. Okay, watch this. Look at this line. Okay, ignore that. There's supposed to be like shoelace strings that are supposed to cross over each other, and right here I'm like, wait, how do they cross? And then it becomes a mess, and I say fuck it, and then I just scribble some lines that I think is about to happen very soon. Yeah, right around. I'm like, oh, fucking don't care. And that is something about me. That is something about me. Like I'm a perfectionist, but not. I want it to be perfect. I really want it to be perfect. But when I'm making it, if I hit a point where I'm like, this shit's not working, I'm like, oh, I don't care. And then I just scribble some shit because I get so frustrated. And I know that if I let myself continue to get frustrated, that I will stop altogether. So I almost, that's not choosing the path of least resistance. It's like I would rather have a drawing or video or a joke come out kind of shitty, and at least I did it, instead of getting mad and giving up. Now here we go with building those folds. The pants are skin tight. They are skin tight up until this area where there's a little bit of fold. And these lines, they like I'm mimicking what I've seen online, but I don't understand why. I don't understand why these lines are supposed to be able to make the folds that they're supposed to be able to make. But it is what it is. See, there we go again. So moving all the way up the figure. This is, and then with baggier clothes, I do have a better understanding. There's just sort of a jagged, free-flowing feel to when you're using baggier clothes. Now, what do we got here? Oh, there's like a fold. There's a fold in the clothing that I'm making, and I think I also try to make a circular, like a hole almost, because the arm doesn't look like it's going inside of the shirt, of that sleeve. And I think I notice it right around here. The arm doesn't look like it's going inside the sleeve, so I start to round out the sleeve a little more and make it darker to imply that the arm is going inside. So I was pretty happy with that move. And there I go again, trying to make shitty folds. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I should look up some videos on that. Because clothing, like, I'm understanding the body a bit better, but clothing has been beyond a headache to pull off. Which is admittedly a little weird when I go out in public and I try to do this. Like, for the comics that potentially look at this, like I when I'm at open mics and shit, I sit in the corner and I try to draw, and I still got to use references, and the references that work best for me are nude references because I then don't have to worry about clothes. But I'm sure you can imagine. I'm sure you can picture it. Me sitting at a fucking bar, surrounded by drunk and or high and or nervous comedians, and there's a naked there's a naked dude. We gotta make sure we talk about that. Fuck that. Don't let Aaron focus and try to learn art. Let's make sure he knows don't be gay. Whatever dumb shit. Okay, what are we doing here? Just darkening. I think at this moment here, I'm trying not to think too much, which is another issue that I think I can fall into. And then we're going back down. Okay, yeah, I'm just jumping around here. I think at this point, I'm not entirely sure what to do. I just know that I need to keep the pencil moving, partly for I don't know if y'all can hear the slamming and the banging, but anyway, yeah, this is something I didn't like. Okay, so the neck is protruding out too much. The head is poked out too much, and the neck is protruding out too much. This isn't I would not say this is an accurate representation. Oh, there we are, back to the eraser. This is definitely not an accurate representation of how that character's head and their neck was. It's protruding out way too much. It has like almost an alien figure to it. I think if I did this purposefully, I would be less bothered by it. But I know that I didn't make it look like that on purpose. All right, so we're going back down. I don't know if there's any Always Sunny fans, but anytime I stop talking, I immediately think of Frank Reynolds when they're trying to start like a podcast or a radio show, and it gets quiet for like a second, and then Frank goes, "Dead air." Dead air, and he's eating crackers and lemons. If you haven't seen Always Sunny, you need to get your shit together and watch that show. It is fantastic. All right, now here's the bread and butter. Here's where I think the figure really finds itself, and that is through the juxtaposition of the environment around. So I'm coming to realize that part of what makes the figure feel like it's not floating in space is the shadow. The shadow indicates form. I don't know if that's the right word. But I think you would consider this the horizon line. It's right in between the character's knees, to indicate like where the wall starts, where the wall begins, and I'm having a better understanding of how shadow works. I mean, in the simplest form, the light, wherever the light isn't, you're gonna have shadow. Now, obviously, there's a little more complexity to that, especially when it comes to drawing. But just in its my basic understanding of it, where there is light, there is no shadow. Where there is no light, there is shadow. And I'm happy because my logic here, I think, is sound. I'm trying to make those shadows. How would I put it? I'm trying to make the shadow move, not move. But try to describe it. You see the lines by the foot, and then it goes up to the horizon line, and then it takes a sharp angle, vertical. So first I have an angular line of the shadows, and then vertical, and I feel like that. Creates these shitty mechanical pencils. I feel like that creates. See, yeah. So I'm trying to play with the lines of the shadows. From what I understand of it, the lines and the contour lines can really build out a form. You can get a sense of how the light is moving as well from that. And this right around here is where I start to actually feel confident and proud of what this drawing is becoming. I'm even getting a little sloppier with the lines just because I feel confident in what I'm doing. I know that a big part, and I'm not really focused on shadow as much as I am figures. Again, 100 figures, and then I'll find something new to focus on. So these shadows, these lines are not something I'm giving a shit all that much about. It's just there to practice. But I do know that the style of shadows and lines I'm building here are, they're layered. So the more you layer it, the darker it's going to get. The less you layer it, the less dark it's going to get. It's a very simple concept. And I think I actually don't mind the sloppiness of it right now, but when I do focus on it, I look forward to seeing those shadows build a bit better, build the figure a little more. But yeah, at this point, and I'm cooking with. Was it cooking with gas or cooking with steam? You don't cook with steam, do you? I guess you can steam vegetables. I'm gonna say cooking with gas. I would say right around here, I'm cooking with gas. I'm feeling confident in what this is becoming. The way I'm drawing is a little more loose. I feel like I'm moving a little faster because I know what I'm going for, which I'm happy about. My wrist isn't cramping up. If you want to watch those dog shit, that first video and that second video where the lens, it keeps going in and out of focus, you're more than welcome to. My hand continues to cramp during those videos because like I'm squeezing the pencil too hard because I'm freaked out. All right, now here we go with more of the shadow. So this shadow is supposed to really emphasize these folds, and they're just not. Like no matter what I try to do here, the folds really aren't folding. I don't know. I feel like the breast area, the outline of the breast is solid too for the foreshortening. I'm really happy with that. Yeah, the folds. I think that may be something I start to look at. The how to make folds on clothing, because it is something that is kind of bothering me the most out of all of this. But you know, we soldier on. What we enjoy the process. That's what we do. I can't. Oh my God, I'll probably be 80 years old by the time I'm able to do this. But being able to animate would be so fucking sick. And I gotta say, and I know that the response to that could potentially be, well, we have AI that's gonna animate for you, and it's like that's not fun. There is something about I guess unless the AI is able to replicate human error, there is something about I don't like the head, but I like the way this looks right here. Right here. When that outline got a little more clear, I really liked that. What was I saying? AI. Yeah, like obviously AI is going to be able to animate like crazy the more time goes by. But there is something to be said about human error, about sketchiness, about mistakes that I feel like on some level that indicates to a person that it is a human making the art. Now over here, this is the layering I was talking about. Basically, just put lines over lines over lines over lines, make the line darker, and that will imply that the shadow is darker in that area. Again, I'm doing this in a really sloppy way because I kind of don't give a fuck. And I was starting to feel done with this. I know there's one more thing that I add that I'm really happy about that I'll get to when I start drawing it. But, at this point, I'm like, okay, well, the figure's pretty much done. Let me just make these shadows a little darker and I'll be done. I think that's another thing that's kind of interesting about drawing is when do you decide you're good? When do you decide, all right, this drawing is good enough? I don't know. I don't have the answer because this is not done. But, oh, look at how fucking sloppy. It's not bad. It's funny. It's sloppy, but it feels purposeful. I think that's something else that's important in art in general, whether it be comedy or music or film. You can be sloppy. You can be avant-garde. You can be strange. You can be weird about it. But as long as that strangeness feels purposeful, here it is. Okay, so this line I'm making darker because it is further away from where that light source is. But then the opposite side of the leg, I'm not going to make as dark. And that's a little detail that I was also very, very proud of. And I'm doing it with this leg as well. This leg is turned in such a way so that the light is hitting it on the right side. But on the left side, it would be turned away from the light, so it should be a little darker. Same with the feet. Feet always have darker shadows from what I've seen. And I'm really happy I noticed that detail. And I feel like we're starting to wrap this up a bit. Yeah, because I'm taking a look at it, and I think I'm pretty much done. And yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with how this came out. Am I just looking at it? Okay, yeah, I think I'm done. I'm happy with how this came out. I think it was solid. Oh, gotta fix that belly button. What the fuck was I thinking? I'm happy with how this came out. I think it's solid, and I'm looking forward to doing the next one. We got 30 seconds left. Should I just bullshit for 25 more seconds? This is me bullshitting. This is me draw bullshitting. This is all bullshit. This is not pertinent. All right, fuck it. We're done. We're good.